Hello people, welcome to my channel, and it's that thing I do at the end of each month, my end of month bot haul. And yeah, I've got a small selection of items to show you here. Again, it's not been a particularly stellar month in terms of numbers. I've only got 12 items, and not many of them are bots. There's a few comics and a couple of spare parts that I've picked up for various projects. Yeah, so let's get on with it, shall we? So the first item I got on Friday the 1st, Spartown Comics, went uptown and went to get the final issue of Star Trek versus Transformers. Now, last year, obviously, I used to get my comics from Lisa Marie. But she then went and had a baby and then went off to do other things. And then there was a bit of a period where I wasn't sure what was happening with it. And then Sid Beckett, Kibble took over because Spartown Comics is affiliated with Comic Connections in Banbury, and he took over for a while. But more recently, he stepped down from doing the Spartown comic collections in the White Horse pub in the top of the Leamington Town Centre, and some other guy by the name of Richard has been doing it for him. And there was a couple of weeks where I've been up and I missed him for some reason. I don't know what happened, but anyway, 1st of March, I went uptown, he was there, and I managed to pick up the final issue of Star Trek versus Transformers. Yeah, it's a thing. It was fun while it lasted. The art style is very much sort of G1, and the Star Trek characters are done in a similar sort of style to the you remember the original Star Trek cartoon show they did, I think, in the 60s or 70s. It's very similar sort of art style to that. It's a thing. Starscream gets powered up on dilithium crystals and then goes to the Klingon homeworld and tries to take him over, and then obviously the Decepticons and Autobots kind of join football. They kind of arrive at the Klingon home planet, and there's a bit of a battle and things resolve itself. Quite interesting, the fact that Fortress Maximus transforms into the Starship Enterprise, which is quite interesting. It'd be nice to see if somebody does a toy of that. But it was an okay thing. It's the final issue, five issues. I've got it. It's a thing. It's not fantastically brilliant, but it's an interesting spin-off. They do these crossovers every now and again. In fact, there's another one coming later this year with the Ghostbusters crossover, which I'm very keen to get because it looks really cool. Plus the fact they're doing that Ectotron figure for it, which is like a heavy retool of Combiner Wars Onslaught that they've retooled into this robot, and it transforms into an Ecto one, and I've pre-ordered it because man, you've got to have that thing. But yeah, so yeah, got the final issue of that on Friday the 1st from Spartown Comics. And then I went on eBay and I bought a bunch of spare parts for a couple of figures. Now, I've said last year I did that restoration on G1 Ultra Magnus, who's down in the D12 down there. You can't really see him because it's behind the box. And so I've decided this year to do restoration on this. It's my G1 Whirl. You can't really see here, but it's like desperately faded. It's not so much blue, it's more like a greyish yellowy colour. I have bought some of the parts already. I've got that one and that one, but I'm still missing the other two accessories, and obviously I'm going to need the repro labels for it as well. And there's a few other repairs I might need to do, like the cockpit comes off because the bit's broken on the end, and on his head sculpt his antenna's busted as well. So I'm looking to do a restoration on this later in the year sometime, but unlike last year where I sort of spread it out over 12 months, this guy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I've got all the parts, then I'm going to do the work, and then I'll do probably, if I decide to do a restoration series on it, I'll just do a couple of videos, probably 2 or 3 videos where I'll just go over quickly the steps of the restoration, similar sort of process as to what I did last time. I'll basically take it apart. I've got my ultraviolet nail drying machine, which I can use to retro bright the parts and get rid of the sun fading. So yeah, I've got all that now, and but anyway, getting on. So I'm carrying on getting parts for this, and first bit I've got, which I arrived on the 8th, is Whirl's Null Ray module piece. Now I was looking at a few of these. There's a couple in America for really kind of expensive prices, but the problem with this thing is on here there's like a prong that sticks out, and it always breaks off, and as you can see on this one it's broken off. But this guy's been sold by some guy in the Netherlands, and it was, how much was it? It was only like £6.20 with postage. So I've got that. And then on the 11th, the final accessory arrived, the shell cannon. So yeah, I got this. I bought this from a guy in America. Again, it got that, you know, global shipping program thing. I got like an invoice through from Pitney Bowes saying, "Oh, you've got to pay this. You know, you've paid the seller. Now you've got to pay us to ship it to the UK." Fortunately, it didn't get a customs charge because it was below the threshold. But I got that, and this will actually clip onto his. It will clip onto his helicopter mode. So yeah, so I've now got all the bits, all the original parts I need to start the restoration. I still want to get hold of the repro labels, though I haven't gone and got those yet. So yeah, work ongoing with my G1 Whirl restoration. And obviously that part arrived on the 11th. And then another part. Now, if you go back to last month's haul, you'll know I got this guy from the NEC Toy Fair. I got me Energon Unicron, and he's missing his ab shield. I've taken the wings off because, you know how they get in the way of things. So anyway, so yeah, I was after a part from this, and there was a seller in the States who was flogging spare parts for Energon Unicron, and got the ab shield. So I haven't actually put it on the figure yet, so I wanted to do this live on the video. Now it's got some little lugs on the side. Let's get that out of the way. Hang on. There we go. And now Unicron is complete. He's got his ab shield, and that's another part I need to complete this guy. He is missing 2 missiles and the minicon. Mr. Zort Rider says he's got the minicon, and he's maybe going to sort one out for me. I don't know. We'll have to see about that. But yeah, so I got that. How much did that cost me? Yeah, that was 23 quid. That little piece of transparent plastic was 23 quid. But yeah, I paid 50 for the figure, and some would argue that's way too much money for a little piece of plastic to get sent across the pond. But you know how it is when you've got a figure that you want to restore and it's missing parts, and you have to buy the parts separately. It can be a really expensive game, as was proved with Ultra Magnus. But you know, this guy had it available. You know, you've got to say, how much am I prepared to pay to get the parts I need to restore a figure? And yeah, I was prepared to pay 20 odd quid to restore this guy. So I'm glad I've done it. He's got that now. He hasn't got that gaping hole in his abdomen. So that was good. And that arrived on the 12th of March. So next we're going on to my KTRT bots, which arrived on the 14th. They both arrived at the same time because I got them from the same seller, Mr. Soon. And the first one is Hello Carbot's Falo, animal Carbot from the new movie Secret of Omphalos Island. Out of the 5 figures they've done for this movie subline, this is the guy that looks the most interesting. I love the colours in his robot mode. He's a pretty cool robot. He transforms into a like a black buffalo type thing. the Buffalo's brick. It doesn't move. It's kind of lacking paint apps. It's very sort of bland, but the robot mode more than makes up for it with these popping colours it's got here. This lovely blue, yellow, white, and sort of slaty grey motif. Love that. He's a pretty cool figure. And then there's Tobot V Big Trail with his whopping great victory hammer. Yeah, this is part of a two-part combine with another figure called Troll, who they combine together and make a bigger robot who's then big enough to wield the hammer properly, because this is like massively oversized for this guy. Love the aesthetic on this guy. He transforms into a black truck, which is kind of like, you know, RID Scourge or, you know, Nemesis Prime. I like that. He's got an awesome head sculpt. Kind of looks like Abraham Lincoln with his, you know, his big beard and his quiff. I love that. He's a cool character. As with so many other KTRTs, kind of limited in articulation in a few areas. The latest episode that went up on YouTube, the bad guys, they zapped the Tobot figures with some sort of beam which makes them angry, and they basically turn on each other and they're fighting amongst themselves, which is quite interesting. Yeah, so I got him. He's a pretty cool figure, and he arrived on the 14th. And then, now, at this point, those guys were bot number 998 and 999 on my, my bot numbering system. And I had an outstanding parcel that I'd ordered from TF Direct from February, which is overdue. And it's the final victory set of 3 Mighty Warriors. It's got like the Warpath, the Brawn, and the Huffer in it. And I've ordered it from TF Direct for just under 90 quid. But I think I screwed up on the shipping. I had 2 shipping options. One was e-packet and the other was e-express. I went for the e-packet and my parcel's got lost. It's gone missing. I don't know what's happened to it. The tracking code stopped working after the first day of dispatch, and I don't know where it is. It's gone AWOL. It's missing. And I'm going to give it a couple of days, and then I'm going to contact TF Direct and explain to them the situation, see if they can sort me out. And I'm a new customer with TF Direct. It's my first purchase from them, and it's gone, and the parcel's got lost. So yeah, it's not great. But the thing was, had that thing come in, then it's a 3 figure set. The first figure, the what's he called? War Machine. The Warpath figure would have been my bot 1000, my 10th Centenary bot, or my first Millennium bot. The thing is, I don't want to keep that guy, because out of the 3 figures, he's the one I'm least interested in. I'm kind of looking to sell it, and there's some other YouTuber who's expressed an interest in buying it off me, so I'm looking to sell it. So I didn't want that to become my bot 1000. So it was getting a bit late, and I decided, I don't like taking matters into my own hands and fudging the results when it comes to my Centenary bots. But in this case, I had to, because I wasn't sure whether the package would arrive, before the next parcel that was due to come in. So I went on to Kapow and I bought a figure that's been very much, I've been looking to buy for a while now. It's rather unusual, very obscure third-party figure, and he transforms into one of the most unusual alt modes you've ever seen. Toy World Dirty Man. Yeah, this guy. He's outrageous, absolutely outrageous, and he is now my bot 1000. He is my 10th Centenary bot. Wow. This thing is amazing. It's so bizarre, so weird. He transforms into a toilet. He's got accessories. He's got like a little metallic, like curly poo, and a bog roll that you stick on top of his what's it mode. And he transforms into this like robotic sort of samurai goblin thing. It's so out there so bizarre and weird and a little bit rude as well, because he has a kabuki mask that looks like a big red cock stuck to the front of his face. This guy is so outrageous. So I got him. So I got him from Kapow for just under 60 quid. Fantastic figure. You know, he's decently articulated. Comes with a bunch of really cool accessories, and yeah. So yeah, Toy Wolf, dirty man. He's just absolutely outrageous. Now, this is my 10th Centenary bot. I do this thing with my Centenary bots. I have this standing rule whereby the Centenary bots, they take on special significance for me, and I withhold their reviews until I get to the equivalent amount of subscribers, you know, on my account, on my YouTube channel, because I withhold them. Like recently, I reached 400 subs and I reviewed bot 400, which is like G1 Micromaster Red Hot. And now that I've reached 1,000 bots in my collection, I've decided to scrap the ruling about, you know, reviewing the bots when I get to said number of subscribers. This is the last, you know, Centenary bot where I will have that rule. From now on, it's just bigger numbers. You know, it's like 1,100, 1,200, 1,300 bots. You know, and I'm not going to do that anymore, because this particular time, again, it was a really awkward situation. I had my KTRTs was coming in, and I don't like KTRTs becoming a Centenary bot, because I like to review these guys as soon as I get them. So, and I've only just reached 400 subs, and I'm probably never going to get to 1,000 subs. So, yeah, so it's kind of pointless carrying on this, you know, little, you know, tradition of mine about, you know, withholding the reviews on my Centenary bots until I get to the same amount of subscribers on my channel. So yeah, I'm cancelling that ruling. I'm knocking it on the head and getting rid of it. So this is the last Centenary bot I'll be doing that with. But you know, he's a fantastic little figure, and you know, I've been looking to get this guy. As soon as I saw he was coming out, it just appealed to me straight away on you know, how unusual, oddball and outrageous this thing is. And he's a fantastic little bot, and he's my bot 1000, and he arrived on the 15th. So next, yeah, Spartown Comics again. Went uptown, see Richard, and got the first issue of the new IDW Transformers comic run, because obviously the old IDW comic continuity got finished off, and now this is the replacement. It's effectively it connects with the War for Cybertron Siege toy line, even though they don't actually call it that. They just call it Transformers. They've basically gone back to before the war started on the Cybertron with the Autobots and Decepticons, and they're basically retelling that story again. So in this issue, you know, you've got Megatron and Optimus, and you've got a few other characters. You've got Bumblebee and Windblade, and there's this new character they've introduced called Rubble, who is a freshly forged, you know, a brand new character who's just come into life, and he's been shown the ropes with Bumblebee. And majority of the characters haven't got faction symbols on them. The only one who has got a faction symbol on him is Optimus. You know, Megatron, Windblade, Bumblebee, none of those have got faction symbols on them as yet. Not a great deal happens in this. The art styles, again, they look like the toys. They look just like the toys. And you look on the front cover, and the artwork, it looks like it's got like thumbprints all over it. I don't know why they've made it thumbed and funky like Aardman used to do with their clay models in their movies. They were saying they used to leave the thumbprints in because they thought it made them look interesting. Seem to have done that with this. Yeah, so I got the first issue of this. I decided to get it to see what it was like, and it ain't a patch on more than meets the eye, to be honest. But it's only just got started. It hasn't got going as such yet as a story, so I'm going to have to give it a chance. And I've also heard a rumour recently that this is going to be like only run out to 12 issues. I don't know whether that's true. Also, they're doing them once a fortnight. They're doing like 2 comics per month, so they're in a hurry to get this thing out the door. So we'll have to see what happens with this. I'm going to carry on with this for now. But so far, it hasn't done anything to impress me. So, yep, there's that. And that was on the 15th. And then it was MCM Comic Con in Birmingham. I decided I was going to go to the one in March. I've been to the one in September last couple of years, but they usually have 2 a year at Birmingham, so I decided to go to the early one in March. Didn't take as much money as I usually do to these sort of events. I only took £100 because of the £400 a month budget that I'm working to now. I'd used up the majority of my most of my money, and I only had about 140 quid left, so I only took £100. And I had a very clear game plan in mind what I wanted to do. I mean, In Demand Toys was going to be there, and I very much wanted to buy, Siege, War for Cybertron, Siege, Leader Class, Ultra Magnus, and Shockwave. And I knew there was going to be like 45-50 quid, so I thought, well, I'm only going to buy 2 figures, so that's pretty cool. And but I had in mind some other figures that I wanted to pick up as well, if I saw them. And obviously I got there on the Saturday. I got there early for opening at 9 o'clock for the priority. And then I came in, walked around, found the In Demand store, looked at their display, and wow, they've got one of those. Power of the Primes, Throne of the Primes, Optimus Primal. Yeah, so this figure was originally a San Diego Comic Con release last year, where it comes in a huge box and comes with this backdrop. And then you've got the Throne of the Primes. Which has got this rotating thing in the back. You can stick all the Prime Masters into, and Primal will sit in it. Now, this thing, because it was a San Diego Comic Con exclusive, goes for silly money on eBay. I mean, you're talking a minimum of 120, 130 plus postage to get hold of this guy. And it's recently been reissued by Takara. And that's what this version is. This is the Takara reissue. If you look on the box, it's got, it's got all this writing here. It's got the PP43 on it. However, on closer inspection of the box, this is the San Diego Comic Con packaging. But if you look, you can see there, it's got like a sticker over the front. And if you go on the back as well, look, it's got a sticker on the back. And the whole of the underside is a big sticker they've put over the top of the original printing on the back. So this is the same. This is exactly the same figure as you get from San Diego Comic Con. It's just been repackaged and been sold by Takara. Now again, getting hold of the Takara issue, it's still quite expensive. I mean, there are some people doing it for about 70, 80 quid plus postage, so you'll be lucky to get one under 100 quid. But In Demand had a couple on their stall for 85 quid, and it's still a lot of money to pay for this mould, because let's face it, this isn't the greatest mould. But I wanted it because I wanted to do this. Because I've got these two guys I wanted to do the trifecta and get all 3 black repaints of the Power of the Primes Evolution Leader Class figures. So yeah, I've done the trifecta. I've got all 3 of them, and that's why I wanted to get him. But like I said, he's not a particularly great mould. There's a few issues with it. It doesn't transform into the car, even though there is a third party upgrade you can get for this thing, where you can put the extra wheels on and a few other bits and pieces, and it will transform into the car. Because you've got the Optimus Primal, sort of bot at the back, which transforms into the hoverboard, and he forms, the part of the bulk of the body on this figure. It will transform into the gorilla mode without the what's it. It's not fantastic, it's got a few issues, but like I said, I wanted to get it because I'd got the other black repaints, and yeah, so I've got it. And of course it comes with these exclusive Prime Masters as well, and it's okay. It's not fantastic, but I thought for 85 quid it was worth a punt, and so yeah, I bought this guy, and he was a thing. But because he was 85 quid, it used up the majority of the cash that I'd taken to MCM Comic Con. So I thought, I bought that, and then but then I thought, well, what else can I buy? I've only got 15 quid left, and I was looking on, and they had Shockwave, they had Shockwave, they had Ultra Magnus, they had Soundwave, they had a bunch of the other Wave 2, War for Cybertron Siege figures. And and a few sort of new Studio Series releases as well. They had Studio Series Leader Class Megatron there, and quite a few other really cool bits, which I could have bought. And I wish I'd have bought more money, because I could have quite easily spent a lot more, 250, 300 quid there in one sitting. There's so many things there I'd like to have bought, but I saw this guy and it was like, yeah, I'm gonna take the plunge and get that one. But what else they had was they had the Wave 2 Siege Micromasters, and I was looking at them and thinking, yeah, I want these guys. So you've got Red Heat and Stakeout. Now they had Ravage and Laserbeak, and I was tempted to buy them, but I thought, well, until I get Soundwave, there's no point in buying the Ravage and Laserbeak. So I went for these guys instead, and the reason I bought these is because of this. Because I've got the G1 original, and he's one of my Centenary bots. He's bot 400. Now thinking about it, if I'd have not bought Toy World Dirty Man, and if I'd have gone to MCM Comic Con thinking, right, the next bot I buy is my bot 1000, and if I'd have bought this guy first, and this could have been my bot 1000, and I would have had 2 Micromasters as Centenary bots. But yeah, it's a thing. I mean, that Power of the Primes, Throne of the Primes Primal could have been my bot 1000, but it was done and dusted by then, so I could go ahead and just buy bots as I wished. But yeah, I wanted to get it because of that. Now, I was tempted this last week to do a review on these and obviously do a comparison with G1, but the thing is, I know I said at the beginning of the year that I was going to make an effort to do more official and third-party reviews, and this month you haven't got any of those videos, because I did my Chewing the Fat on Friday the 8th, where I was going on about this thing where I was tempted to do these sort of videos for the Dragon Prince, which I still haven't decided whether I want to do that. And the few videos that I have done, extra videos, they've been getting very poor viewing figures, and I've come to the decision I do YouTube for views, and I'm not getting as many views as I used to do on my videos, and I'm starting to think now, I'm getting really depressed about it, and it's like, why am I bothering? Why am I bothering to, you know, to sit down in front of the camera and spend, you know, 4 to 5 hours crafting a video, putting it up on YouTube, and then watching it get, you know, like 15 to 20 views in the first, you know, 24 hours after it's been uploaded. It's just, it's becoming increasingly difficult to justify continuing doing YouTube, and I have done a lot of soul searching the last couple of days whether I want to, you know, quit YouTube because of it. But that's besides the by, because no, this is a haul video, and I'll still be doing those for the time being, and my KTRT reviews. I just won't be doing the extra reviews unless something comes in that I feel I want to review. But apart from that, yeah, I've got these guys. He's got floppy joints, and when you're transforming him, sometimes his legs pop off. This guy's a little better. The one thing I will say about this guy, they didn't bother to paint the fake wheels, whereas on the original one, you know, it's got the fake wheels are painted, and this one they haven't. So yeah, that's one difference that isn't so clever. Also, these guys kind of double up as sort of target masters. You can plug them together to form a weapon that's neither here nor there, honestly. So yeah, I got those. And then when I went to pay for them, the guy, because IndieMan was doing this thing whereby if you spent 10 quid, you got a free bot, because they had loads of bots on their stall as well. And when I showed him, I said, well, hang on a minute, I bought this massive, great, you know, Power of the Primes, you know, Throne of the Primes, Optimus Primal for, or Optimus for, you know, like 85 quid. So he says, oh, if that's the case, you know, he says, you know, take your pick of these 5-packs. So, yeah, I got a 5-pack of bots for free. So, you know, you got, the pack I chose was one of the, what was it, the Toilet Troop packs, where you got the toy roll guy, and that spray can dude, or that deodorant dude, Frohawk. But I wanted it for this little Unicron thing that turns into an ice cream cone. That's pretty cool. And it also came with this tape dispenser and this little flashlight. Now, I like bots. I like the concept behind them, and the alt modes are really weird, but I don't want to get too involved with them because I can see myself going mad and just collecting all of them. But you know, some of them are a bit naff. I mean, I don't particularly like this guy because he doesn't transform properly. I mean, in the instructions it says you're supposed to push his head down to hide his eyes, but you know, the head unit's been glued in place and it doesn't move. And you know, some of them are a bit naff, so I don't want to get all of them because some of them, you know, not that great. So yeah, I've got some free bots. So now I've got, what, 7 bots now. So yeah, got them as a freebie off IndieMan Toys, which was cool, I suppose. And at least I came away with a, you know, a reasonable haul from MCM Comic Con, because if I'd have just blew all my money on the that Power of the Primes, Throne of the Primes Primal, then you know, it would have been a bit of a low turnout, a low haul. But yeah, it was all right. It was okay. And then finally, a couple of days ago, Friday the 29th, went back to Spartown Comics and got issue 2 of Transformers. It's got Chromia on the cover of this one. Again, the story's ongoing. There's basically been a murder. Brainstorm's been murdered. And, you know, Prowl and Chromia and a few others are trying to investigate it. But you know, it was Rubble who found the body, and they're trying to say to Rubble, says, well, look, no, Cybertron's a world of wonder. Don't be put off by the fact, you know, murders almost never happen. So, you know, they're trying to keep him away from all that. And then you've got Megatron's having some big rally with these, what they call Decepticons. They're not the Decepticons yet. They're some of a sort of faction who are rebelling against the regime, and then there's an assassination attempt on Megatron, and you know, things start getting start building up there, a bit of tension. But yeah, it's starting to pick up now, but still it's very slow going. And as I said, Richard, the guy at Spartown Comics, he mentioned to me, oh, it's only a rumour, but apparently this is only going to be 12 issues. So we don't know whether this is only going to be a short comic run and then they're going to stop it, take stock and decide, what we're going to do, or is it only going to cover the the first wave of the War for Cybertron trilogy, Siege, which is probably the case. But anyway, that's the last thing that I bought this month. So yeah, it wasn't a particularly busy month for purchases. Again, I bought a few kind of expensive things, and because I'm working to this lower budget, it's getting a bit difficult to to buy the expensive items. But I'm moving on. I bought a bunch of spare parts and comics this month, which accounted for a considerable chunk of my haul. And yeah, so we're now at that point where we do the first and worst. This is kind of difficult. I could do a bot as a worst figure because they're small and naff, but that's not really fair, is it? I think it's got to be this guy who's the best thing that I got this month. He's just so outrageous, so weird and oddball, and he's bot 1000, so he's my first Millennium bot. So yeah, Toy World Dirty Man, and then I think little Micromaster Stakeout, because the build quality on him's not that great. He's a fairly basic sort of transformer. I mean, Red Hot's got a waist swivel. This guy, he's just got ball jointed hips and arms and stuff. So, and he, like I said, when you're trying to transform him, sometimes his legs pop off. So he's not that great. Ult mode's okay, the robot mode's okay, but the build quality on it's a bit naff. So he's the worst thing I got. So first and worst. So that's that done. Yeah. Like I said earlier in the video, I'm getting a little bit depressed about viewing figures on my videos, and I'm thinking about is it really worthwhile me continuing to do YouTube videos. So for the time being, I'm going to carry on doing my KTRTs and my end of month bot hauls. As for anything else, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see how I feel. It depends on motivation, and I haven't got much of that at the moment. So yeah, so sorry to end this video on a sour note, but that's just the way things are. I mean, things just aren't going so well, and it ain't going to last forever, let's face it. There's going to come a point where I'm going to pull the plug on it and say I aren't doing it anymore. So many other YouTubers have fallen by the wayside for a variety of reasons, and I'm getting that way myself. So yeah, here I've been TFR Wilderness. That's my bot haul for this month. Hope you've enjoyed it. May catch you next time, we don't know. So yeah, I'll see yous. Goodbye.